Hello everybody, and welcome back to artofdino.com and saveearth.us. And I've got a little one today that I came across when I was checking out this article, and I found a little bit of an anomaly, so make sure you get a good look at this little etching here from January, the very beginning of the year 1879, from the Wichita Eagle. And this is the Kansas State Capitol building. Look at how sweet that thing is. And this was an entire page of the newspaper that had different scenes from this area, and this one is pretty much the only one. There's one other market building that's somewhat decent. The rest are shacks, wooden shacks and nonsense. So keep this in mind. This is a good quote too. Civilization measures time in deeds done and triumphs secured, by which rule the 300 and odd years of Spanish dream and Indian savagery may be dismissed with a paragraph, with the full assurance that whatever of the dead past there may be of interest, it is too deeply buried to ever be resurrected. And this to me seems like a little bit of a giveaway here. Like they didn't care, like they intentionally, despised who came before them, so they wanted to eradicate everything. And they wanted to make it impossible for the future to understand these things. Hence the newspapers, the mass programming of the post-reset era, the last one. Or whichever one, how many there have been. So you can take a look at this, the Kansas State Capitol. Take a look at the history, 19th century, Topeka Town, 1862, the master architect, that's when they get the land. The East Wing began in 1866 using native limestone, blah, blah, blah. And then take a look at this. Construction began on the West Wing in 1879. And in 1881, using limestone. So think about that when you look at this picture, which has clearly both wings. There's not a wing missing from this, not even close. And this was from 1879, the very beginning, when they supposedly added that wing. So they either did it in 9 days or they're lying through their teeth, which is most likely the case. And look at this building. Most likely it goes underground like they all do, like the White House, like the Capitol building, like all these things. They keep going down. And they were here made by someone else for a completely different purpose. And we are just lost in the entire truth of the matter. So I thought this was a very cool one, and again, it's just obvious the way these things are. And I'm going to show you from the article the other pictures that they show of this same time, and it's like people didn't even think twice for some reason that this is, this building right here is clearly different from these scenes you're going to see in a second, these other clips, except for one building, one marketplace, which is pretty sweet. But again, there's so much, look at this, the Mantuck Wheat Market, made of like just shacks and wooden little huts. That is what these people at this time were capable of. These people were capable of that. This one's, you get a little more intense. That looks like it could be repurposed. Someone else, other civilization may have built that one, but again, it's not as complex as the other one, and the materials are a little bit different as far as I'm seeing right here. This one, again, I still think there's founded stuff around and interplaced in this, and then they built up some things. The companies, the ones that had money, would probably fill in the gaps and maybe restore some other things too. But look at all this stuff. These scenes compared to that scene of the Capitol building. It's like, how are you making this stuff? Like, how are you making just like wooden shacks, but then doing the interior of this thing in marble, in like gold, in precious metals? Even this statue on the top, this eagle from the Eagle block over here. Like this one, again, looks old school. It looks European. It looks out of place compared to all the other ones. And here's come the construction photos. Again, I'm not sure what is authentic or not, but that one looks like, again, they cleared out something. It looks like after a fire, after some kind of devastation. I don't know when that pic's from. Found it on Pinterest. And here you get these ones with the different pieces that could be photoshopped, but again, show a different scene with electricity. They show all these different things. The wings are never detached. In fact, there's some other photos that just show the wings. So that whole narrative from Wikipedia and the other thing is just completely asinine. And it seems like in the newspapers, they intentionally left out the truth about all this stuff, because look at that. That looks immaculate. That is a sweet construction building with all the grounds done. And that's what the main stuff was. I think their main job is to find it, be a Freemason, fix it up, and then clear up the grounds. And again, this, I'm not sure about this, but again, I think this is baloney, or from a time that is undated. You know, I guarantee they had photography for way longer than they tell us, so they can have old pictures and old photographs, since the technology is the same, camera obscura. Someone figures it out at some point in history, and it can be used forever. And then if you say it was invented in the 1890s, then everyone's like, oh, it couldn't have been done before that. But it could be, because these photos there could be photos from AD like 100 for all we know, because it's a process that could have easily been figured out. If they're figuring out how to make these buildings, I'm sure they can figure out the process of making a picture. So again, perfect symmetry, amazing art all over the place, absolutely stunning, clearly with a purpose beyond what we've been told, 100%. But again, wooden huts with zero symmetry, and then they make this. So they're just constantly making like little tiny shacks, but then this occurs for what, the state capitol. They all of a sudden their taxes were able to make stuff like this. So this is them repairing certain parts of it. I'm not exactly sure about these pictures. I can't totally justify them, but this one right here, wow. There is no way anyone in the 1800s was building like this. There is not a chance. Absolutely asinine to think that that is the case. And then here we go. They put in the murals to make everyone think, oh, the history can be summed up in one image. And here it is. Look at what we did. Oh, look at the wildfires, the storms. We gathered all these people. Oh, everything's so nice and sweet. Everything blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the ancient ones up top are have pictures of gods, goddesses, ancient stories, totally different than this slop that they put at the bottom. And again, this one, you know, it could be somewhere else. It could be the same thing. It could be, again, like I said, hundreds of years before they tell us the camera was invented, because that's the easiest way to pull that kind of stuff off. And then eventually they add this when the tech was all destroyed and useless. They had Ad Astra up at the top, just to cement the deal on the Native American charade. And so again, you can never believe anything you trust. They have anomalies all over the place. The newspapers are the programs, and all the state capitals were founded. Prove me wrong. Bless you all from artofdino.com and SaveEarth.us.